Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of Their Story. We are bringing you the viral TikTok star, Papa Jake. You can see him with all of his videos that he shares about World War II. Today I get to sit down and interview him about his time in World War II, specifically storming the beaches of Normandy. He helped plan Omaha, so let's get to it.
My full name is Jake Melvin Larson. I was born December 20th, 1922.
Papa Jake, can you share with me how you joined the 34th?
How I joined it? Oh yeah, I could tell you exactly how I joined it. My cousin Chick Larson said to me, the National Guard is looking to fill its unit down there. He says, let's go down and try to enlist. We're 15 years old. Answer him when he says, how old are you? Just look him in the eye and say, 18, sir. We goes into the armory and says, what can I do for you young men? Wow, young men. We stood about 2 inches taller. And I said, sir, we'd like to join the National Guard. And he looks up and I'm thinking, 18. What year were you born? Oh, wait a minute here. This is unfair. But I was born in 1922, so take away 3, 1919. 1919, sir. He says, sign right here. So help me God, we had no physical, no nothing. We were in the service at 15 years old.
So then lead me into storming Normandy in Omaha Beach. Now you know what's happening on June 6th of 1944. Will you take me through that day, your experience and what you went through?
Yes. I was on the command ship there, and they had this rope ladder, and looking down, there's that LCI, landing craft infantry, that holds 30 soldiers. I was the first one down there, and I got to sit right in the back by the guy from the Navy that navigated the damn thing, see, that ran it. I'm carrying about, I would say, 70, 75 pounds on my back. A gun across my shoulder. That thing is coming up, it's going down. It's coming up, going down. By the height of the waves. And you got to step off just at the right time. You could land on their face and carrying all that stuff. People could get hurt. My God, it's amazing how nimble some of these soldiers were. I thought it was great when I got a solid seat. And then these others getting down in there, they come in. We got on the ship at 7:30. That's it. And we're supposed to land at 8:30. Well, 8:30 came around, and General Bradley was going to call off D-Day because the forces on Omaha Beach, First Army, were not getting up over the cliff. Then, golly, it got to be 10 o'clock. And mind you, circling around, flat-bottom boats, by the time we got up there to land, most of those guys were seasick. I didn't get seasick. There is a God. There is a God. And all of a sudden, they're dropping the front of that thing, and we're free to disembark. We're disembarking with water up to our chin. He dropped us too far out. Too late now. We have to walk through that water, and we walk in a single line. The single line was there for a purpose. I would have hated to be the guy in the front. Of course, that whole beach that we came into was mined by over 1 million mines. Think of that. Over 1 million mines. Other craft were unloading, and they came in single file like that. And every once in a while, you'd see that spurt of water come up from that file. That was somebody stepping on a landmine. So you can understand why I made sure that I walked wherever the other guys walked. Man, there were 2 German machine guns had me zeroed in, one from the right and one from the left. And they were cross-firing on me. There was a little berm, and I'm talking like a sandstone berm, where the waves washed away. That thing wasn't 6-8 inches high, and I landed on my stomach down behind that berm. That it was protection from those 2 MG-42s. Those things could shoot 1,200 rounds a minute. Our top machine guns fired 600 rounds a minute. Germans doubled that. You could not hear the difference. It was like a buzzsaw. You couldn't count between. And I'm laying there waiting for them. They have to reload. You know, I'm waiting there. And I drag out a cigarette holder that's waterproof. Get out a cigarette, put in my mouth. My God, my matches were wet. I looks to my left, probably 2 foot from my left leg there. I see this helmet, and I say, "Hey, buddy, have you got a match?" I got no answer. I looked around. This time, instead of just glancing, I looked. There was no head under the helmet. Here's a strange thing that happened right at that time. At that time, those machine guns had to reload. And I thank the soul of that guy that lost his life there, because it was like he said, "Get up and go." I got up and ran. I ran, and then the machine guns started firing again at me. They had to pick me up. And I looked up, and I said, "What the hell am I doing here? I can't see anybody to shoot at, and they can see me, and I'm dodging and going back." I made it to the cliff. I made it to the cliff without a scratch. How is that possible? I think of that. There is a God. I tell you, I have had help. Things work out for me. You will not believe what happened after we got up the cliff. I do not remember getting up there and helping set up the command post. But I do remember it was about 7:15 at night. Madison Rich and I were digging our foxholes. I hadn't slept since the 4th. Everything we were doing was on adrenaline. Yeah. We came in wet. I don't remember drying off. We didn't put on fresh clothes. We dried off what we had. And 7:15. Oh, I remember that like last night. Somebody said, "Sergeant Larson, Colonel Hill wants to see you right now." So went in to see Colonel Hill. Full bird colonel. "Sergeant," he says, I just got word from 1st Army. We were the 5th Corps under 1st Army. Omaha Beach was our thing. They had 2 corps under 1st Army. 7th Corps was Utah Beach. So he says, 1st Army wants me to keep G3 open 24 hours a day from now on. You're going to run G3 at night. At 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, I became a staff sergeant. I landed on Omaha Beach. As a sergeant, 21-year-old sergeant, I became a staff sergeant that night. People will say, this is crazy, but let's go fast forward here now to the 75th anniversary of D-Day. I was there at the 75th anniversary. I was the only one in my unit still alive. All those people were gone. And that was broadcast all over the United States and Europe.
I kind of want to talk about it a little bit now because it is kind of, you mentioned it. When you went back for the 75th anniversary of D-Day, you brought your sons with you. And there's an incredible photo I saw of you walking the beach. Share that moment when you went on the beach and what you saw that you think that God kind of put there as a symbol of that day for you.
You would not believe this either. That beach wasn't the same beach that I went in on because there were no obstacles. There was nobody trying to shoot you. Colin was right alongside of me. I said, my God, here's that berm that saved my life. What an unbelievable feeling. That it probably wasn't the same one, but it sure looked like it to me. It's just like you washed out sandstone there, and it was so high, made a protection for me. How can you duplicate something that you're lucky to be alive? The water was red, bodies all over. It's things I like to forget. Now, when we went to the cemetery, they had us to the cemetery first. I have never been in a military cemetery. And I wear that hat all the time, see. So, and I don't know how to act. You can't salute with a hat on, you know, this here. I'm looking at that cemetery, that marker. My God, a private from 1st Division was buried there. I took off my hat and raised it up. That went viral. A salute to all those souls who had come to see the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Because of them, they paved the way for me. They made it safe for me. You understand my feeling?
Yes.
They were the ones that let me come in. I get tears right now. I think about it.
I think it's incredible. What is one last piece of advice that you have for everybody watching that you would like to share, bridging the gap, especially to the younger generation? What would you like us to know?
Don't be ashamed of going to the military. My God, we would be speaking German right now if this hadn't happened to me. I am so proud of everyone. I don't care when you served, what you served at. Maybe it wasn't combat. Maybe it wasn't there. But you were there. You were there ready. I think the service changed my attitude in life. You become whole again. You feel like you're something when you're serving too. You feel like, my God, I did that. I did that. You may not get the recognition. I never in my life thought I'd be 98 years old talking to you guys. My God, that's only for old people. That's talking about their service. It's old people. I never thought I'd be ending up talking about my service. And I'll tell you one thing. I've got so many Christmas cards, birthday cards. I can't get through them. I can only read so many. I get teared up. They think I'm a hero. I invented a new word. I'm a here too. Well, a here too is somebody that's going to tell you how much they appreciate the service of all the guys that gave their life that I could come here.
Oh, I like that. Here too. You're a here too, not a hero. A here too. Huh, that's great. Well, you're an amazing ambassador for all those that serve, Papa Jake. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you so much for doing this.
It takes more than me to give thanks to those guys. They gave your life. What more can you give? What more can you give but your life?